Today, we're looking into Operation Keller. Happened just recently, May 13th, 2025, in Shopian, Jammu and Kashmir.
That's right.
You might have caught bits of it in the news, but we really want to get into why this particular operation, described as swift and precise, is seen as quite significant.
Exactly. And to really get the weight of Operation Keller, you need the context, right? Shopian, it's in South Kashmir. And, well, it's unfortunately been a real hotspot for terrorist activity. Lots of past operations there.
So it's not unusual territory for this kind of thing.
Not at all. But Operation Keller, from what we understand, seems noteworthy because of the speed and the decisive result.
Okay.
So our mission for you today is really to explore the key points of this operation and understand why it matters.
All right, let's start at the beginning then. How did it kick off? Our sources say this wasn't, just a random patrol.
No, definitely not. It was based on solid intelligence, is the phrase used, gathered by the Indian Army, but with crucial support from local sources, too. That's often key.
And this intelligence, it was pretty specific.
Very specific, apparently. It pointed to three high-value terrorists, basically important figures hiding out in the Keller area of Shopian.
High value. And one of them was singled out.
Yes. One was flagged as a key mastermind, someone behind recent attacks on civilians. So this suggests a very focused intelligence effort, not just a general sweep.
And the unit involved, the Rashtriya Rifles, right?
Yeah.
Specialized counterterror.
That's them. Trained specifically for this kind of counterinsurgency work. Their movement was described as swift, silent. Probably critical to the success.
And the objective was clear, wasn't it? Not just engage.
But to neutralize.
Yeah.
That's the term they use. Render them incapable of action.
Okay. So the actual encounter. Forces move in, start the cordon, and search. Standard procedure, sort of?
Right. Standard, but always dangerous. And predictably, things escalated quickly. The terrorists reportedly opened up with heavy fire.
So immediately hostile.
Immediately. It underlines the risk. Even with good intel, good planning, the danger is intense.
And the gun battle that followed, described as fierce.
Fierce, calculated, and dangerous. That's the description. Suggests, determined resistance.
But it went over relatively quickly.
Within hours, apparently. All three terrorists were eliminated. It speaks to the effectiveness, the decisiveness we mentioned earlier.
Now, one name really stands out from those three, Shahid Kuttay.
Yes. He's identified in the reports as the most significant target neutralized.
And his affiliation, a top commander in the resistance front, TRF.
That's correct. And crucially, TRF is widely known as basically a front group for Lashkar-e-Taiba, Lati.
Okay, so that Lati connection instantly raises the stakes. That's a major organization.
Absolutely. A well-known, long-standing terrorist group. Using TRF as a front might be, a way to create distance, perhaps.
Plausible deniability, maybe.
Could be. And the reports specifically link Kuttay himself to that horrific Pahalgam attack.
The one where 26 tourists were killed, innocent civilians.
Exactly. That connection just adds a really stark, chilling layer. Shows the kind of threat he represented.
No wonder our sources call him one of the most wanted terrorists in the valley.
Precisely. His role wasn't minor. Described as instrumental in planning attacks. Targeting civilians, targeting police, security personnel. All under the TRF banner.
So taking him out, it's more than just one less fighter on the ground.
Oh, much more. Which brings us to the wider impact, right? It's framed not just as a numerical win, but a significant psychological and tactical victory.
How so? Tactical, I get, disrupts planning. But psychological?
Well, removing a key leader, a planner like Kuttay, it can seriously dent the morale of the network. It disrupts their operations, sure, maybe forces them to regroup. It could even deter future attacks, at least for a while.
And beyond the impact on the terror groups themselves, what about the local population? Our sources mention restoring confidence.
And that's absolutely critical. Local civilians are so often caught in the middle, victims of crossfire, targeted killings. Operations like this, when they are seen as successful and precise.
They can help rebuild that sense of security.
Exactly. Rebuild trust, perhaps, between the security forces and the community. It sends a message. The authorities can act effectively against these threats. Protect them.
And it also sends a message outwards, doesn't it? Across the border.
A very strong signal, yes. To the groups, to their handlers, the message seems to be, India is watching, India is prepared.
It's framed, interestingly, not just as retaliation, but as proactive. Prevention, protection, and peacekeeping.
Which is a significant framing. It suggests a broader strategy at play.
So thinking about that broader strategy, What, if anything, makes Operation Keller stand out in the longer story of India's counter-terror efforts? Is there something different here?
Well, one thing highlighted in the reports is this ongoing evolution. India's approach becoming a more technology-driven and intelligence-led.
We hear that a lot globally. What does it mean on the ground here?
Things like drone surveillance being used more routinely, rapid response units being highly integrated. It's about leveraging tech for better precision, faster reaction times.
But it's not just about the drones and the tech, is it? The reports also stress
That it's happening while staying rooted in discipline and valor. Absolutely. That's crucial.
so a blend. New tools, traditional strengths.
Exactly. The human element, the soldiers' training, their courage, their judgment on the ground, that remains absolutely central. Technology is a powerful enabler, a tool, but it's the forces using it.
That make the difference.
Precisely. And the information suggests Operation Keller really reflects this, a mix of strategy, speed, and bravery.
It's easy, isn't it, for operations like these to just blend into the news cycle? Another headline.
Very easy.
Mm.
But it's important to remember, as the sources point out, behind these missions, well, there are real soldiers, real families back home, real risks being taken every single day.
Risks taken for the safety of others.
And for you, listening, it's maybe just worth taking a moment to consider that human cost. The courage involved in maintaining security in these complex environments.
Absolutely. And our sources offer a simple but I think powerful thought. We salute the Indian Army for their courage and commitment.
Let us never forget the cost of peace and the guardians who protect it every day.
Yeah.
So this deep dive, our aim was really just to give you a clearer picture of Operation Keller, the context around it, why it's seen as significant in the bigger security picture.
And just to reiterate, the information we've discussed is based on publicly available news reports, and it's intended purely for educational, informational purposes.
Absolutely. We're not here to push any agenda, promote hate, violence, or political bias. Our goal is simply to inform, maybe offer some insight, and definitely honor the dedication of those working for India's safety.
Right.
So to leave you with something to think about, we've talked about the increasing role of technology, of intelligence in counterterrorism. It's happening everywhere.
Mm-hmm. A definite trend.
So the question for you might be, as these tools get even more sophisticated, even more powerful, what are the future implications, for maintaining peace and security, especially in these really complex, challenging parts of the world? What does that future look like?